never going to be an agency in the sense that there's 25 people working in rows on Macintosh computers eating Krispy Kreme donuts at lunch. So the Teacake design was set up in 2007. Whilst we studied at university, we found that the course wasn't very challenging at all. So when a trip to New York, we decided we wanted to get home and actually do some real work for real people while still at university, because at that time we didn't have jobs, other paid jobs like McDonald's, things like that. We just wanted to do more creative things. For the final year, basically, we carried on working as we were, but in a two, myself and Graham Sykes, who co-founded the project. He's the guy from Derby. He came to Manchester to study. So we worked together in my bedroom every day on one small desk with two computers and a bed that was covered in our work. But from doing that, we worked with two government agencies, the Labour and the Green Party, and also a host of quite large companies. So for us to be 18, 19 and pulling off such a big feat so early on in our sort of education whilst at university was fantastic. And we also took on basically every single kind of job that we could. We begged, stealed and borrowed for equipment, and we got a lot of friends who were also graduating to help us along the way. But Teacake has only ever been the two of us, and it always will be the two of us. I think the agency is about two creative people coming together to create creative work for creative people and people that appreciate good design. We've got a lot of dreams for Teacake and who we want to work with, but we've always said we'd love to work with, I think it's a barber, a tailor, a builder, a sweet maker and a candlestick maker. This project is one that we've done very recently, and it is on our dream job list, as it was a Manchester beer house called Port Street Beer House in the Northern Quarter, working with graphic design mixed with some really nice ales, lagers from around the world. It's a match made in obviously heaven. Now this was designed especially for the beer glasses and mats themselves. This is the menu beautifully embossed into this leather Bible. We call it a Bible because inside there is a list of over 150 different beers that they sell there. Next is quite a dirty glass, but this is the glass that has the logo on it. Now, with a lot of work that we do, we try to keep it very clean, very minimal, and using quite a select few of typefaces, this one being Buckman Old Style. And again, quite a nice typographic composition, looking at ligatures, the self-drawn ligature there on the ST. We've just done a website for them and also a mobile app. It got to the point where we knew we weren't going to earn enough money just doing the nice jobs. So that was when a very, very big decision came, and Graham decided to move to London in search of this big design dream as such, and I was going to stay up in the north from the hills and carry on working as Teacake. So I took over everything that we did full time, and Graham got a great design job which he still works into the present day, and then helps me out every single evening, every single weekend. I mean, as soon as I have a problem, I'll ring Graham and he will definitely tell me exactly where I've gone wrong in no uncertain terms, and vice versa. And my design hero is a guy called Ewald Speaker. 40 years he's worked with letters away from a computer in his hands using die cut, a letter press and stamp marks. This is a book of his called The Letter Lust, and in it is just hundreds and hundreds of his pieces, always working with typography in its purest form. So it's all very artistic, and you could say that it's not graphic design at all, but the ideas and the concepts and the reasons he's come to in producing this work is fundamentally how we would love to run our agency. Ewald knows everything there is to know about typography, but he's only ever used 5 typefaces in his life. Now I've got a computer there with over 7,000 typefaces on it. He has actually only ever used 5, and only will ever continue to use 5 because they're his favourites. Each typeface couldn't have been designed any better, and for him, if you can make those look beautiful again and again and again through other design rather than just a typeface, you don't need any more. What he has done, however, to change typeface, bastardise it as it's called, is to actually cut alphabets in half and create halphabets. Now this is a great example here of a mirrored one. You can see these letters work perfectly cut in half. You've got quite an unusual design there, which again on its own is fantastic. When you bring this together, you can see the true forms coming out to create the word you. Now this has been done in different formats with a full alphabet using mirrors in full art exhibitions and installations. This is a man that truly loves letters and has spent 40 years working with them. And for us just to achieve a tiny bit of what he's achieved in typography would be a dream come true. We've got such a friendly and personal experience. There is no account handler that's giving you the wrong brief, and then if you do it the way we do it, you're going to get it right either first time or very, very soon, because there's no one else getting in your way. So as a creative, you might sit there and have 20 ideas and your creative director looks over your shoulder and they're shit. Fair enough, you're going to do them again. But if you can whittle that down yourself and you know when something works, you know when you're proud enough to show a client the work that you hope they will run with as a brand or whoever they are. So I think to continue in that way is the only way to do it. Working so lonely on your own has so many more advantages than somebody else telling you they could have done it better every time. We'll never enter a design award, ever. We'll never win one because we'll never enter one, and we won't probably pay for it either, because we've had certain big award companies ring us up and send us emails and asking us very politely and very quietly to send a cheque for £300-400 and we'll appear in the book, guaranteed. Now, other agencies as well very interestingly sponsored design awards and a year later win the award. So as I've not worked in agencies, I don't know a great deal about how all that sort of politics work, but it's all absolute bollocks, because if it wins a design award, fantastic, but it might not have done the job for the client. They might have hated in the end of a group of people. So if John Smith down the road at a big agency absolutely loves the typography, but his artwork, he thinks the kerning's horrible, I couldn't care less as long as the client's happy. Jerwood's a massive arts-based company based in London with exhibition galleries, charitable foundations and a whole host of staff doing really creative and great things for the young and old art communities in the country. Something we did called For the Sake of the Image for an artist called Suki Chan, who'd actually won one of Jerwood's competitions. So what we decided to do was create something that housed not only all the key information about the exhibition, but also the DVD, which showcased all the work. So what we did here, which is created an A6 type booklet, and in it had an introduction to the exhibition, words from Suki herself, and words from the curators. We then also worked with the space on the back to create key information about the different artists that worked with them and for them for the exhibition. Now, this was quite a nice way of designing the booklet, because then it folds out once more to create a slot to house the DVD. We've also done a lot of branding work for Jerwood, and we worked with 2 London-based illustrators to create 2 iterations that we use throughout the entire company: profile, business stationery, new website and so on. So again, hand letterpressed, we would go down to the studio ourselves, create the plates and then create such a tactile finish to these. We're doing jobs. I think Teacake is doing the jobs that the designers in the design agencies would love to do themselves at home, if that makes sense. Not putting down what we do at all, because we've achieved a hell of a lot in the time that we spend on Teacake solely. But the jobs and the clients that we have are the ones that I think every other designer out there would love to be spending their time on. The biggest job we've ever had is Teacake, and making sure people realise what we're doing and making Teacake look bigger than it is. As you can see, it's one man in Manchester in a mill, and it's one man or boy in London, but it is literally 2 people working every hour they can to do creative work. So it's a hobby that's actually turned into a full-time job and commitment.
When will you learn? Playing with fire causes third-degree burns. A careless satire you once called a friend shattered the peace